Hey everybody, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and it is in fact time for Badger's picks for the first week of November. Let's see who's free this week and which 4 champions I'm going to recommend. As for the champions that will be free, that will be Draven, Gangplank, Katarina, Rammus, Rek'Sai, Rumble, Sivir, Tom Kench, Xerath, and Zillion. For my first recommendation, gonna give it over to Gangplank. Gangplank is still incredibly strong despite his nerfs. I've talked about this on and off. He's just really good, and he's going to remain really good. The only thing that really holds him down is his early game, which it had a slight nerf on the most recent patch, but still, he's quite fine. Really what you want to do is you want to make it to 2+ items, and you want to get to the point where you can scale into late game. He's an incredibly strong champion. He gets gold faster than any other champion in the game, which means he can hit those couple of item power spikes faster than most champions, even though they're a little expensive. But he's just a menace in the top lane. If you haven't been playing him, I highly recommend trying him out. My second recommendation for this week is another top laner, and that is Rumble. Now, Rumble has been high in my tier list for a while, and a handful of people don't understand why. Hopefully, if you play him this week, you can start to understand how that could be, but it's going to take you more than a couple games if you're not used to Rumble. He is a very skill-based champion. If you manage his heat bar well, and you understand how aggressive you can be while not being overly aggressive and just getting killed, Rumble is one of the strongest top laners. He doesn't get nerfed, because it is a huge skill thing, and he doesn't get played because of it. But he is a very, very strong champion who saw a lot of buffs with the changes to items throughout the season. We'll see how he ends up in the next season. I'm assuming he'll still be just as strong, but we'll see. But for now, Rumble still remains a very strong champion. You might want to try him out. My third recommendation for this week is going to go to Tom Kench. Now, Kench, we were wondering, or at least I was wondering, where he was going to fall and what role he was really going to see himself brought into. After everything's kind of settled, I think he is finally finding his spot in support quite well. The thing I like about him is his amazing ability to save people's lives by consuming them and, keeping them safe and running away. The other thing, too, is if the enemy team at any point decides to focus Kench, the problem is the gray health will win out every time. He can then just use, activate it to then have that shield of gray health, and then he can usually get away, or at that point his team has probably slaughtered enough people where they're going to win the fight. Maybe he still falls in the fight, but that's too much time to spend on trying to kill a champion, and he's still impactful with being able to consume other people and stunning them and slowing them, so he's finding his place. He's quite strong. If you haven't tried him out or you don't own him, you might want to this week. And then as for my final recommendation for the week, I'm going to give that one over to Xerath. I like Xerath as a champion. I've always thought he's been quite fun. He is, your standard stand back and fire off as much damage as you can mage, which is kind of fun to play, honestly, in some ways. If you're kind of tired of all these bruisers getting up in the front of fights, Xerath might be a good pick. Obviously, if they gap close to you, that's unfortunately a bad thing for you, but he can stand in the back and just keep dishing out damage. Make sure you get blue buffs. Even if you have an Athene's, you are going to murder through your mana. So get that blue buff, stand in the back, and just keep pinging off shots with a Death Cap and a Luden's Echo and that Athene's, and just keep going ham over and over. You're going to deal a lot of damage. You're going to pick up a lot of kills. It's going to be a lot of fun. Those are the 4 champions that I'm going to recommend you try this week, but those are all 10 of them that are free. Let me know which champions you might be playing down below in the comments. I'd like to know what you might be playing. It's always cool to come back and read some of that. So go ahead and leave me a comment. If there's a box around any of these champions' portraits, it will take you to some type of build for them, whether it's a full build and guide or a quick build. But other than that, I wish you all the best of luck this week on the Fields of Justice.